man. And I stand by that. It's cool. I ain't hurt by Tom Brady being in the Super Bowl. I'm good with it. But it's how things happen. It's how things go down that really, really, really get to you. Kevin King letting Scotty Miller get behind him with 8 seconds left. 8 seconds left in the half. Everybody and their mother knows you keep them out of the end zone, and you sitting there looking at the quarterback instead of paying attention to the receiver. You're supposed to be guarded. But I let that go. Because as ignorant and stupid as that was, I understand these things happen. But Matt LaFleur doesn't let Aaron Rodgers go for it on a 4th and goal. Listening to those damn analytics, people. The analytics numbers will tell you the story. He's Aaron freaking Rodgers. Give him the damn ball and let him decide. But that's not the Green Bay way. See what I'm saying? I don't give a damn about their regular season record. I don't give a damn about Matt LaFleur taking them to back-to-back NFC championship games. It don't mean a thing. It doesn't mean anything. What counts is you had a chance to go to the Super Bowl, and you took the football out of the hands of Aaron Rodgers to rely on your suspect defense to prevent Tom Brady from getting a first down to run out the clock. That is Matt LaFleur's legacy moving forward.
Stephen A.
Yes.
Your boy, Aaron Rodgers, is he the quarterback with the most to lose?
I think so. Because I think that, to me, Aaron Rodgers is the greatest quarterback I've ever seen. From a talent perspective, he's the greatest ever. I just believe that. The Dan Marinos. And, I keep throwing up names of Max like a Dan Fouts. I loved Dan Fouts. I loved Ed Coryell with him and Charlie Joyner and Kellen Winslow Sr. and Chuck Muncie coming out of the back. I used to love watching San Diego throw the football with Dan Fouts when they went in San Diego. Now, when they went on the road in Cincinnati and, in god-awful temperatures and all of that stuff, I felt bad for them. You can't come from Southern California to go to Cincinnati for an AFC championship. You just can't do it. It's not fair. It's not fair to human beings. I mean, it's frostbite and all that other stuff. But here's the deal. You can pick any quarterback. I was a lifelong Steelers fan. Terry Bradshaw, Lynn Swann, John Stallworth, Franco Harris, Rocky Bly and the crew, me and Joe Green and L.C. Greenwood and those boys in the defense. Didn't matter. Aaron Rodgers is the greatest quarterback from a talent perspective that I've ever seen. Doesn't have the greatest resume to go to Tom Brady, but he's the greatest quarterback that I've ever seen. And to me, to be in this postseason, to be knocking at the doorstep of a Super Bowl berth, again, you haven't been back since you won it all in 2010. You're age 37 now, 48 touchdowns and 5 interceptions for the regular season. You are about to win the league MVP. You are going up against Tom Brady. It's not just about you needing to win. It's about who you'd lose to. And losing to Tom Brady at 43 years of age, switching conferences, don't have Bill Belichick anymore, etc. And you go out there and you lose to him. To me, that would be a very, very big deal. I'm looking at Mahomes, and you look at Josh Allen, and you look at Tom Brady. I mean, Tom Brady's got 6 rings, 9 trips to the Super Bowl. You made it this far without Bill Belichick, etc. To me, Aaron Rodgers, the way that they've looked, the way they looked last week, the way they've looked for the most part throughout this regular season, with the exception of going up against Tampa Bay and Tampa Bay, you look at Aaron Rodgers and the way he has balled. If suddenly you wet the bed in the NFC Championship game, it would be a bad look to me. And I just look at him in terms of this week. In terms of this week at Lambeau, first time NFC Championship game at Lambeau since Brett Favre. This game right here, this weekend, just these quarterbacks, I think Aaron Rodgers is the one with the most to lose out of all of them.
Well, I would agree if we were limiting it to that game. If it was Rodgers or Brady, I'd say Rodgers has more to lose. And Brady probably has the most to gain out of everybody at this point, because if he gets to the Super Bowl, getting by Aaron Rodgers this time without Belichick, it's an amazing actual enhancement of his already best ever legacy. I don't think Rodgers has the most to lose, though. He also has something to gain. He can enhance his legacy, too, because Rodgers' talent is so absurd that if he winds up with 2 rings or gets by Brady finally Okay, they're on comparable teams. If anything, probably the Bucs have a little more talent, but Rodgers has more continuity. They're on comparable teams. Okay, Brady, you're not just coming out of the AFC. What would happen if you had to face Rodgers? Rodgers had something to gain there. See, I went head to head with Brady. We're both old, and I beat him. The guy with the most to lose is Patrick Mahomes, because you think Rodgers is number one ever from a talent perspective. And I would say he was until I saw Patrick Mahomes. And it is close, but I think Patrick Mahomes is number one from a talent perspective. And one thing we can agree on, I'll bet you everyone will agree on this, combination of talent and situation, Mahomes is number one all time. Talent and situation, Joe Montana and Tom Brady, they had a lot of early success. But you can look and say, as great as they are, that's decision-making. Yeah. It's not like they had the wheels or, the most accurate passers or biggest arms ever. It wasn't like when you first saw Brett Favre, oh, my God. They were situations, great quarterbacks in great situations. But talent, no one was thinking number one. Peyton Manning had a slower start, let's be honest. Aaron Rodgers wasn't in the best situation all those years. Neither was Brett Favre. But Patrick Mahomes comes in with the kind of talent that since day one you go, oh, that guy might be. He's in the conversation most talented dude ever. And in a situation with receivers everywhere and a great coach, Stephen A., do you realize he started for 3 years? This is his third consecutive championship game he's played in.
But
he's won an MVP, a Super Bowl MVP. Molly, what I'm saying is no one's ever started his career like this, ever. He's on pace to be the best and the greatest.
Fine.
I'm with you, but he's not healthy.
Well,
that's why I feel like this year's a little bit of an outlier. He deserves an excuse.
If he plays.
If he plays, fair enough. But I got one better for both of y'all. Who has ever started out their career with the weapons that Patrick Mahomes has had available to him?
Yeah.
Situation.
That's
there
what
is
Max
no
is
one.
saying, yeah.
Now, listen, we can look at Mark Super Duper, Mark Clayton with Dan Marino. We can look at that. I guess that's a comparison or what have you. But what I would say to you is that when you look at Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, Travis Kelce, McCole Hardman,
Andy Reid,
Reid, Eric Bieniemy, nobody has had that available to them. So to me, without throwing any kind of shade on Patrick Mahomes, because he is great and there's a level of greatness that you just can't deny. When we talk about the argument of who's the greatest, his ceiling compared to Aaron Rodgers' ceiling, Aaron Rodgers has never had that. We just lamented a few months ago how Aaron Rodgers threw passes to Tavon Austin, and it was the first time in Aaron Rodgers, they highlighted how Drew Brees had thrown over 600 passes to a first-round wide receiver, and Tom Brady had thrown, or Drew Brees 800, and Tom Brady over 600, and all of these quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers throwing a ball to a first-round pick at the wide receiver spot had 2 pass attempts in his career. Come on now.